you know?
I sometimes like wonder how people see me, you know? You ever like wonder, like you ever see your reflection in a public space?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh shit, that's how I look like.
Yeah.
Like, how am I
do
getting
you see me?
perceived by other people? Like, I'm trying to be kind.
Right.
I'm trying to be generous and accommodative and charismatic.
Yeah.
And all those good words. But at the same time, I don't know how to do it in every situation, you know? I don't know how to do it well in every situation. And sometimes I see myself in a reflection and I'm like, oh shit, that's me. That's how I look like today, you know? That's the jacket I chose to wear. Or is this good? Could I wore something better? Could I said that better?
Sure.
Like, there's gonna be mistakes, right? There's gonna be like, man, I shouldn't have said that. You ever like said something and you're like, fuck, I shouldn't have said it that way, you know? That was rude. That's probably rude. Or that was not a funny joke. Yeah. Like, fuck, I should just stay quiet and just go and do my own shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you don't want to do that step forward and be super accommodative because you don't know if it's going to go well for you or if it's going to put you two steps back, you know? And sometimes I think about that and I think about like, how am I being perceived? Like, am I making myself be perceived the way I want to be perceived? Or are people going to just people are going to make their own opinion of you, even if you do it good. There's going to be certain people that are going to like you a lot. And there's going to be some people that are not going to like you at all. Yeah. No matter how nice you are, you know?
Yeah, talking about perceptions too. Like, what do you see for the podcast? Like, how do you want to be perceived? Like, what's the vision? Do you have a specific like audience for the podcast, or is it just like? Because I know we had originally done Ordinary World, which is more remember? Like kind of like talking about anything and everything, right? Which is great. But then, I mean, I know obviously like UFC, you like philosophy. I don't know. What's your vision for the podcast as you go forward over next year?
My biggest goal with the podcast right now is not to be fake.
Just be
genuine.
Okay.
Because I feel like a lot of people that go into this realm, that they are captured somehow, either by the audience or by this one thing that was successful and they just keep doing it. I want to be me in some way. And whatever I don't know how to be me without just being me and not like, there are certain things that I've said no to, you know, that I could have had in the podcast. There are certain things that, you know, these people want to be on the podcast, but I don't see any value or I don't find them interesting
so maybe it doesn't have to be anything then. So maybe it can be whatever you want it to be then. Kind of like Joe Rogan's thing? Like,
I mean, like the whole setup of this is kind of like Joe Rogan's. I love Joe Rogan's setup. I love that he has the table and you're like looking at each other and we're talking as if we were like at a restaurant or something. Yeah. Versus some of these other podcasts that I've been watching where it's more like a panel where like we're sitting side to side and it's all in a way like, you gotta hit these talking points, or like I don't really like that.
Well, I don't know. Like you see like Bobby Lee and what's that other guy's name?
Oh yeah, Bobby Lee and like Santino. Bad Friends. Yeah, Bad Friends. Yeah, I love that show.
Theirs is pretty good. They're like kind of in an L-shaped.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I mean, like theirs is still kind of like fun though and entertaining. I still like theirs
because their characters are so perfect for each other. Like it flows well with each other. Why?
Yeah, they're really great together. I mean, obviously the comedians. So there's that banter level, and they have that experience, and like you know, they know how to like kind of bat each other's ideas back and forth. But yeah, I'm just curious. Like, obviously they have a specific audience they're trying to reach.
What I don't like about them,
I like your approach to where it's like a Joe Rogan approach. But how do you build an audience without having like specific
things we talk about
on that are like maybe because he does have specific people on that are like very topic focused, you know?
Right?
So I'm curious, like how would you grow
through
your podcasts?
It definitely depends on the person I have on.
Okay.
I mean, the people that I've had on so far have been just friends from work.
Right.
And none of them are specialized in a certain type of subject or a certain type of profession. The only reason they agreed to be on the podcast is because they're my friend. And I told them, hey, we're going to have drinks and we're going to hang out and talk some shit, you know? And I think that's important too, because it's hard to get a vision of the public if the public never speaks their vision, you know? Like, the public is you and I and anybody else that's not in a high status position, which is what I mean about people that are specialized in certain subjects. Those people specialized in those certain subjects, I feel like they have a lot of content already out there. And you can really, like, you know, in a way, decipher how they would act and how they would answer certain questions versus people like you, how, like, nobody's listening to your opinion, but I want to hear your opinion and I want to share it with the world. And it's important to hear your opinion because you matter too in some way, you know? And not only that,
to like the Ordinary World podcast.
Yeah.
It's closer to like, hey, this is going to be an everyday.
I do want to have people with professions though, you know?
Yeah.
I do, like, for instance, I like to learn more about history. I like to have a historian on and learn about certain things about America. Learn about certain wars or certain scriptures or something like that, you know? But I don't know anybody like that. And even if I did know them, I don't know if I can get them in here to speak to me about certain things they know, you know? Like, I think that's a process of developing the show to then get to that point. I think I should still be fishing for those people, which I will be, but I'm not banking on that. And it's like, oh, I'm not going to continue the podcast because nobody wants to be on it. I've had that idea. I've had that thought, you know, implanted in my head before where, like, it really isn't worth it. It's not worth, you know, I could sell this and get pretty good money and invest that into something, into the stock, and then that will make me money over time, you know? But it's like, I feel like I'll be depressed.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't have a thing I do, you know?
Right.
I feel like this is a hobby, you know?
Right.
And if I structure it to where we can only talk about algorithms, we can only talk about ChatGPT, and I don't want to talk about your fucking girlfriend and how you guys going to move in with each other. I don't give a shit. I want to talk about this subject. Right. I'm going to cut all that other bullshit out. Yeah. It's like, what? No. Hearing all those other subjects from you and what's happening in your life structures a character about you. And in a way, I'm trying to display my character in the internet so they know what kind of person I am. And they know that when I have somebody in, they kind of know an idea how I act with them. Do I let them get by with certain bullshit comments? Yeah. Or do I, like, pressure them in certain ideas? What is my perspective? And all these things. Like, the reason I listen to Joe Rogan so much is because I identify with his perspective. I identify with the things he says and how he structures things and how he questions people, and he knows his own limits. He has professors from, you know, Harvard and, you know, like, you know, a whole array of other professions, and he doesn't question them. Like, he doesn't grill them. It's like, oh, are you sure about that? Because I heard this on a website and it told me that the earth is flat. Versus he's like, really, that's crazy, you know? Like, holy shit, the infinity is so big, it has everything in it. Right, totally. Even this very moment, and multiple different versions of this moment in infinity. It's like, wow, that's awesome. You know, I think, I don't like this phrase, but it speaks a lot about our position, or anyone's position, is that we all have our own lane. And our lane is what we know. And we know we don't know certain things outside this lane, but then we don't know what we don't know.
True.
And that's what's just dark. Like, we have an idea that there's things over there, but we don't know at all. Like, we cannot even imagine some things, you know?
Right.
And these people can illuminate some of that path.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's what makes podcasting so fun. Is
Yeah.
you're tapping into that area of the unknown.
Mm-hmm.